Welcome to Deception Roll, the show where I openly lie to my friends by reading them 3 r/RPG horror stories, one of which I made up. It is completely fake. We'll of course give advice along the way to help those in need. I have the usual same 3 contestants. I already forgot the scores.
I also...
Tristan at 2, Bean
3?
at 3,
Ivy at 3.
Ivy at 3.
You're the only one who lost.
Yes.
No one told me how the game works yet.
Yeah, because last time it was 2, 2, 3, and then you won. Yes. I should start writing that down.
I'm going to kill you for your points, Bean.
There's a lot of violence.
No.
Are we ready for the first one?
Yes.
This is by user JIGM. I have been running an in-person 5e game for a group of 5 players for some time. The only players who matter, other than me, the DM, I will call Guy, Lady, and Warlock.
The third gender.
The group had been meeting up to play pretty irregularly. This is partially due to people's schedules, but mainly due to difficulties reserving a place to play in LGS reliably. In the game, we have been doing stuff tied to the Warlock's backstory, Pact of the Fiend Warlock. And so, the party had been interacting a lot with his patron. I decided to do a voice for the patron. Think it like simple country lawyer, but really high and nasally. And it was a big hit with the party. Everyone was joking and doing their best impressions of the patron. At the same time, the guy and lady, who are a couple, got a new dog, an absolutely adorable English bulldog puppy. Cut to last month. Guy and lady, being lovely people, decided to set aside a space for us to play at their house so we can play more reliably. This led to an unintended problem though. When they got their puppy, lady had been using the patron voice a lot because it was on everyone's mind at the time, including when she would play fight with the new puppy. This had led them to using patron voice with the puppy whenever they were playing with him. Now the little guy thinks that whenever he hears that voice, the person talking wants to play and attacks them, including me, the DM. What am I supposed to do? Not play with the puppy? That's possible. So the only solution was to adjust. Guy jokingly said that Null Paladins hate the patron and would attack them on sight, and this got adapted into the canon of the game. Whenever the patron would contact the party, he would only speak to the party until the Gnolls found him and fled, aka the puppy attacked me for using the voice. So now the party is going on a journey to rescue the patron from this mysterious nightly order of Gnolls. And that's the direction the game is going in. I had a whole storyline written up that I am now scrapping, but I guess that's just the price I have to pay. Again, by user JIGM.
How lovely.
Adorable. That's amazing.
Better storyline, sorry.
Oh my god. Thanks for starting us off on a banger.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's hats off to the DM for that one.
Yeah.
Coming up with that one on the fly.
I'd scrap everything for a dog too, to be fair. Just not gonna lie.
It's cute.
No, this one's like a good
vibes.
Yeah. And no one really seems to have a problem with it.
No,
I'm sure her ankles were hurt after a while.
I love
yeah.
the fact that they started using the voice with the dog, and that's what the dog has determined as playtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When I hear this demonic entity talk to me, I know it's playtime.
Just like when I use the Darian voice outside of Dungeons and Dragons.
I can't wait until
my wife wants to kill me. It triggers a violence response.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, short, simple, sweet, cute.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is by user MiceHearted.
Can this one be just as sweet and cute?
We'll figure out.
Okay.
This happened a while ago in a long-running campaign. We've been playing together for over a year. Tight-knit group, great chemistry, a lot of fun. Our party was balanced until the bard's girlfriend Lisa decided she wanted to see what D&D was all about. At first, no one minded. Lisa sat in on a session, quietly watched, and seemed interested. The next week, she made a character, a warlock. From the moment she joined, her character was obsessed with the bard, her real-life boyfriend. She followed him everywhere and would frequently interrupt conversations with NPCs. Oftentimes, she just eldritch blast anyone she thought was being too friendly. At first, we laughed it off, but soon she started targeting me specifically. See, my paladin and the bard had a strong in-character friendship. We had great banter and plenty of trust-building moments. It was honestly the biggest highlight of the campaign for me. Apparently, Lisa saw that as a threat. For the most part, it was just a routine thing. We'd banter, she'd get jealous, and then we'd awkwardly move on. But I guess she couldn't take it anymore. At a certain point, Lisa actually started crying during one of the sessions. The DM called a break while the bard and Lisa argued outside. Next session, she was gone. The bard told us they broke up. Felt like I was the reason they broke up, but I never asked the bard about it. One of those things I'd rather not know about. Again by user MiceHearted.
Wow.
Rescued that man. Saved him. A G.
Oh my god.
Elise is insane. Tell her to get therapy.
I'm getting the vibes that it sounds like something that may develop like further on in Ivywood's friendship, similar to what Darian and Sorrow will eventually have. If Sorrow ever decides to open up a little bit more.
Maybe.
Lisa, I think, was the name
Yeah,
given.
that would
Lisa?
leave Lisa as, unfortunately.
Lisa, the person, the human, just seems very insecure about their foundation with the real world attachment in a relationship.
I can almost bet that he was going home talking about the campaign fondly. She got jealous that he was having fun and made this character specifically so she could be there to be part of it and watch him. And that's not healthy.
No.
And you... Yeah.
I'm gonna say the obvious thing of it. No, obviously, you did not break them up. D&D did not break them up. There was obviously something more going on in the background.
Oh, yeah.
This was just the thing that
it could have been
it culminated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could have been the tipping point.
Yeah.
So who knows? But Lisa, sorry that you got broken up with. Go find someone else.
Yeah.
But
Go seek therapy.
Find a ranger instead of a bard.
don't be
else, like a therapist.
just
Yeah.
Find someone else. Therapist. Also, just it's a game.
Yeah.
Friendly
okay.
banter will happen.
Go sleep with your patron. If
I have to hit on my players as other characters. I have my partner literally sitting next to me.
Yeah, I don't get jealous when he's actively hitting on Graviel. When he's actively throwing himself at Graviel. I'm recording. It's different.
Yeah. It's a business expense.
It's a business expense.
Are we ready for the third and final one?
Yeah, we're blitzing through these. I like them.
Short and sweet. This is by user BananaChops52. Look, I get it. The DM makes the rules, blah, blah, blah. But when you have a DM removing stats from ability checks, trying to remove the ranger's ability to not get lost in their favorite terrain because it's overpowered bullshit, and overall, just having a bad attitude unless they're winning, it gets old. I have no issue approaching disagreements head on, and will take time after each session to have a conversation about things that myself and other players didn't like with the DM. They will dismiss literally everything. One point, even saying, the other players suck at D&D, so it makes sense that their characters are stupid. I was speechless at that statement. Many sessions later, each with their own accompanying horror story, reached the topic of conversation. So the party reaches an area in a large, inescapable dungeon. This area has an NPC spellcaster that is amicable, if not snooty. Literally everything in this dungeon has tried to kill us with no exception. So my character shuts the door to the room and confers with the party that we're definitely killing this guy, right? Party agrees. As we're discussing, DM says, suddenly the area around you is filled with darkness, and I ask, does this look similar to the darkness we see in our Warlock cast? DM hesitantly says yes. So I tell the group in character that as soon as this drops, we rush the bastard, and tell the DM that the moment the darkness drops, my character is rushing through the door. After a minute or two, DM says everyone make a dexterity saving throw. We all ask why. They say that a wall of fire is hitting all of us. Mind you, the darkness is still up, the door is still shut, and we're in a twisting hallway. I bring up that both Wall of Fire and Darkness require concentration, and Wall of Fire requires line of sight. DM spends 15 minutes reading each spell, then says the darkness falls, but the Wall of Fire still hits all of us. We ask how he's casting it through the door. DM says it simultaneously burst through the door as he cast it. I state since darkness dropped, that would have triggered my movement, but DM argues that it happened too quickly. While flabbergasted at this shenaniganry, that was an awful word to use, and ask, since Wall of Fire requires line of sight to cast, how did he cast it through the door, through the darkness, and through a twisting hallway with pinpoint precision to hit everyone? He can see the layout of the dungeon in his mind. After some back and forth, DM's now shouting, you all freak out and never let anything play out, so we all calm down and say, alright, let this play out. Our sorcerer is up, and says they throw a fireball into the room. You can't see in there due to the flames. Some more back and forth about the insane flip-flopping on the world interpretations. Eventually, DM relents and a fireball is cast. Our rogue, who's playing through a Discord call and can't quite see the map, started in the fire, so they took damage. Then they asked to move out of the fire, and asked the DM if they're out of the fire and won't take damage. DM, with a smirk, says, yes, you're out of the fire and safe. I know how Wall of Fire works. but keep my mouth shut because surely the DM wouldn't tell a player they're safe when they're not. Nope. As the turn ends, you take 36 points of fire damage. Rogue is asking why. DM is saying you're too close to the fire. Everyone is asking why the DM thinks the character is so stupid that they would stay where they're actively being burned. DM says since it's magical, they don't realize they're burning. At this point, I'm packing my stuff up. DM says we're moving on. We're moving on to Banana Chop's turn. I say, nah, I'm out. I'm done with all these insane combat rulings. Everyone is begging me to sit back down, and I say I know exactly how my turn will play out. But let's find out for fun. For visual imagining, my character was nearest the door, about 15 feet away in a straight 5-foot wide hallway. The wall of fire filled said hallway, the only way out being to continue through the wall of fire. I sit back down. My character started their turn in the wall of fire, so they already took damage. I say I move through the wall towards the wizard's dick. DM says, you take more fire damage. I ask how in the evergreen fuck do I take more damage? Since I never left the wall of fire, I can't enter as I move through it, so no damage would occur. Their argument? You entered a new square in the wall of fire, so you take more damage. That's exactly how I anticipated they'd roll it, so I packed up to leave again. DM relents on that decision, and I sit back down. Against my better judgment, my character rushes in, smashes the NPC's head in, ending the fight. Session continues and ends shortly after. Sidebar. A character died in the previous session. The DM says, too bad that fireball went through. The way to find the new player's new character was in there. We played only one more session after that one, culminating in another character dying to some more combative shenaniganry. So now the campaign has ended. Now, I DM for most of the players in that group, much to their satisfaction, with far less DM versus player rulings, again by user BananaChops52. A long one.
I think
Makes my blood boil, much like those characters' blood was boiling in the wall of fire.
Yeah.
I think we need to normalize fist fighting your DM.
Oh, okay.
Normalize meeting up in a Wendy's parking lot after the session.
I think the DM needs to understand spells more. Sounds
Needs to read the rules.
Yeah, it
DM's
sounds like
just on a power
No,
trip.
it just sounds like
Oh,
the
yeah.
DM is like, yeah, I'm gonna use firewall. I know the bare bones understanding of firewall. It's a 120 foot, 10 foot tall. If you start your turn and you take fire, but like he doesn't know the finite details of it. And instead of finding out those finite details, he just goes with whatever his preconception is about it.
It sounds
So
like
if he wants to set fire to someone and someone's still standing in that line of fire, he's gonna be like, yeah, of course you keep burning. Well, yes, realistically, yes, but not according to the rules of D&D.
Yeah.
The reasons the rules of D&D are in place for magic specifically is because if you don't, magic's so overpowered or underpowered. So they try to make it a turn-based system, and that's where it gets a little hectic.
it sounds like he has a bare bones understanding, like you said, but he also can't take being told that he is wrong. He can't be ridiculed.
Yeah.
It sounds like he also needs therapy, but again,
A great solution to
Maybe
everything.
some bitches. Who knows? Bitches change a lot. Changes a lot in the person.
Yeah, I feel like they just don't understand a lot.
I mean,
I think most spells, if I'm not wrong, are like it's always either you end your turn or you start your turn and that's it. So like just knowing that alone is where the damage comes from. Is like that's how most spells work. And the fact that this DM doesn't even know that is like, did you read anything? Do you know you're playing D&D? It's just how things are set up, so it's a streamlined and easy to understand process.
Like things are set up in D&D so that way you know how
You
they
didn't
interact
know what
with
concentration was, apparently.
for darkness?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
you need to hold it.
each other.
Technically, you can cast.
Who
when
let
holding
this guy
concentration.
GM? I don't think he read the rules beforehand.
No.
You can cast when you hold concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can cast, but not another concentration.
Nope.
Everything
Unless
in,
you have a concentration item.
Yeah.
everything in D&D is set up so that way you know, like I said, exactly how it interacts
Yes.
with everything else. No
To a
matter
degree.
what, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it's just like
To a reasonable
like
extent.
is a lung billable
Yeah.
like is a lung
We're not getting
container.
into creating water in people's homes
Yeah, like things
for
like
obvious
that.
reasons.
But there are things that are like, yeah, this is how it is said in the rules, and we will follow it to the best of our ability, so that way it's still fun, but like it also makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things in D&D simply make sense because there are checks and balances between everything.
Yeah. Punishment for this DM: read the DM's handbook.
Go read.
Read,
Or
please.
understand how spells work specifically.
Just read books.
It doesn't seem
maybe.
like the team that was explaining the story weren't really bothered by the story or anything like that. It was
No.
just the mechanics.
Anyone
of
can
spells.
write a good story.
Careful with that one.
Anyone can read a story that someone in the world finds good.
What?
Anyone can write a story that someone in the world finds good.
Yeah.
Even
Gotcha,
the
gotcha,
sloppiest of
gotcha.
slop
Reminder.
has fans.
People like Twilight.
Yes, unironically.
All right.
And ironically.
All right. You're right.
I ironically love Twilight.
Exactly.
Shut up.
It's ironic.
Fan fiction is popular.
Okay.
I guess
People
this is
love
true.
everything.
I guess this is true.
I
Either
like
way.
it because it's bad.
Either way, the team seems to be fine with the story and everything. It's just the mechanics of combat regarding spells.
Yeah.
Power to you if you're doing a different campaign.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there was 3 stories. First one by user JIGM,
The puppy.
the puppy,
Puppy's too cute.
and the Null Paladins. User MiceHearted, Lisa, the jealous girlfriend, and user Banana Chops 52, the combative DM.
I'm gonna go with 2 being a lie.
It's either 2 or 3.
Cause, yeah, I'm gonna go with 2. Cause I really want the puppy one to be true.
I really
That's
want
fair.
the puppy one to be true.
That's fair.
Yeah. I really want to hope there's a good in the world.
And if
in
it is the lie-
RPG horror story.
If it is the lie, I want you to be pulling a puppy out of that back room, and it's a segue into introducing us.
You better. I'm gonna say, I don't know.
I'm gonna say 3.
I'm gonna say 2. I think.
Okay.
Please.
So the final result is 2, 2, 3.
Yep.
It was 2.
Hey, let's go.
That's my first.
Let's go.
My first
So the
L.
board is now Tristan 3, being 4 in the lead, Ivy 3.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
On
that was
Deception
all
Roll.
for Deception Roll.
Rate us 5
5
stars
stars
in
in
the
the comments.
comments.
Bye.